Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast where we talk about Latino everything. I switched it up, I know. We're going to keep it excited today because y'all going to like this one. Check it out. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is the time. Go ahead and subscribe. It's free. Carlos coughing over there. I don't know what's the business. You good? You need some water? We got water. Alrighty. Subscribe because it helps us a lot push the Latino content on YouTube so we be seen everywhere. Because why? We're one of the biggest communities out there. We need your support. So subscribe today. Today we have an amazing individual. He is born in La Paz, the highest capital in the world, Bolivia. He's one of the four founding fathers, as he says, media conglomerate, Up to Something Media, which is an unapologetic commentary, music, food, local culture, podcast, media spectrum. Diego Escobar, a.k.a. Bolivian Bulldog, a.k.a. the brave Bolivian. En la casa.
You did your research. Dang, that was...
How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. That was an amazing intro.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for being here. You do media, you do different things. We're going to get to know all about that. But first, we're going to go ahead and get started with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting
Preguntas al Chile.
This Preguntas al Chile come with a twist sometimes. They're not the same thing. So if he did his homework, he might think he knows, but I got a surprise for him.
I'm
Check
ready
it out.
for everything.
Tacos o tortas?
Tortas.
Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
Flour.
Anticucho or salteñas?
Oh, anticucho.
Sacta de pollo o empanada de queso?
Empanada de queso. My mom's going to hate that answer, but she's going to be mad.
Alfajores o cocadas?
Alfajores.
You're going to be shocked by this one. Sublime clásico or sublime blanco?
Sublime clásico.
What?
Man, I get those shifts here. How do you know this?
Mexican coca or jarrito?
Mexican coca.
Agua de horchata, jamaica or tamarindo?
Oh, Jamaica.
Menudo or pozole?
Pozole.
Valentina, tapatio, cholula or Tabasco hot sauce?
El Yucateco.
El Yucateco, my
Yes.
favorite too. Which one though? They got different colors.
The XXX one.
It's like the darker
naughty ass
brownie
name.
looking, almost brown.
Yeah, that's amazing flavor.
I'm running out of that one. I need to
Okay.
get some more. Well, you really like the spicy. That's fire.
It's a good one. We did some content with them.
I
man.
saw
They're
that. I
good
saw
people,
the
man.
questions and
They're awesome.
You did the bomb, which I was surprised that you did.
Oh, it was spicy. It burned, but
It was bomb.
yeah, it was bomb. Well, we got to run that one back. Man.
All right. Conchas, the concha bears, the pastries. Do you like the brown ones, the white ones, or the pink ones?
The pink ones.
What is, to you, in your opinion, the best Bolivian dish that everyone should try out?
Oh, I'm gonna say tucumanas.
Tucumanas. And
Tucumanas.
why is that?
I think it's the great essence of Bolivia. It's a great street food. It's on the go. Super tasty. You get a cholita serving it up. You got the sauces right there. You see all the other working people out in the city, and it's a good sense of the city, and it's just on the go. It's
the
very
go.
like salteña. You can find salteña stands, but to me that's home. I like the
Awesome.
tucumanas. Yeah.
And what are 3 places that anybody that's never been to Bolivia, that they are planning to go one day, what is the 3 to you places that they must see when they go to Bolivia?
Number 1, Salar de Uyuni. It's one of the most beautiful salt flats in the world. I think they even like recorded like some of Star Wars on there one time. But I was fortunate enough to go there with my family, and
Nice.
man, it was beautiful. Like the sunset reflects everything. Salar de Uyuni, Lago Titicaca, one of the 8 wonders of the world. It's a huge lake, but it's also beautiful out there. And then Plaza Amorillo, that's like downtown, just like the big plaza.
Yeah.
You know, they set up markets there on Sundays. You have movie theaters, restaurants. Everyone is out. You can find anything in there in the city, but
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Tell me the first one, the name again.
Salar de Uyuni.
Salar de Uyuni, Carlos, you need to clip something about this one. So this
It's
one is a dry lake that every so often when it rains, there's a shallow amount of water, but it looks like it's a whole freaking mirror. Like it's like beautiful, 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 beyond beautiful. There's so many pictures, videos, content that people put out there. And I'm talking about miles and miles. You look like you're walking in the ocean, and the ocean is just calm as calm can be.
It's
It's beautiful.
it is beautiful.
Not only that, but Bolivia itself, some places that it has look like it's from another planet.
It does, man.
It
It
does.
does, and it's crazy because it's like it's a landlocked. It's a pretty small country, and you got Brazil, Argentina. You got some powerhouses, some might say. So I think Bolivia gets overlooked, but then whenever you actually see, it's like, man, it's so beautiful out there, man. I want to go back. I'm trying to go this year. So
Yeah. Be ready though, because it's so high elevation that you might have to catch your breath. You might need some oxygen there once you get out of the airplane because it is the highest capital, La Paz, the highest capital in the world. And I didn't know that till I started looking into
yeah,
Bolivia. Like, if it wasn't because you're here, I don't think I would ever just proactively look into Bolivia more and realize those things. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Like I think because I was born there and then moved here, and then like I would visit every once in a while. It's pretty expensive to go there too. So I remember I was here in the U.S. for a while, and then went back, and I remember I was like just going upstairs.
Why am I
I was
winded?
like, I was like, man, I'm out of, and I probably wasn't in the best shape, but it was like it was way more exhausting than I remember, and then I have sisters as well that like they go and visit. They weren't born there, but they they're soft. They got the oxygen tanks. They're
All right.
not built like me, but
We'll talk a
no.
little bit more about that part because I really want to know. Okay. What is a conspiracy theory that you saw one day that, or you heard, and you're like, oh man, this got to be true. There's no way
Oh,
this is not true.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I guess it is a conspiracy. I'm a big basketball nerd. I'm a big basketball fan. So the highest scored point or highest point scored game ever NBA history is Will Chamberlain supposedly scored 100 points.
100 points. Yep.
I don't think it's true. I think it's a lot of hoopla. And the reason I say this is because there's no video evidence. There's slight video evidence.
Like highlights, but not really the
Yeah,
whole
not really.
game.
I think they have them like warming up, and then like some radio, which radio you can add way later. I don't buy it. And then also what really, which makes me think the most about it is, um, he was a terrible free throw shooter all through his career. Horrible free throw shooter. He's one of the best players ever, but a
Mm-hmm.
terrible free throw shooter. Like 40 to 50%. And then that night he goes, I think he hits like 27 for 30. It's like 90% to hit the perfect 100 points. I don't buy it.
That is true. It is logically doesn't make sense if his average is like 40,
Yeah.
50% free throw.
The counter argument is, yeah, I've heard it's, well, do you think in the 60s they were going to let a black man shine like this? And I'm like, damn, that's a very valid argument. But I think at that time, like, the Bob Cousy's, the like the white folks in the NBA were already getting schooled. I felt like it was game over. But I don't think that he hit 100 points exactly.
Or maybe that's when he realized that he was that dominant that time that even it was
It could
difficult
be
or
at that
hard,
point he was just like, I'm shitting on
even
all
ahead of
y'all.
his time at that moment in time. But
Yeah,
it's a good one. I never heard of that one. That
yeah.
could be.
I'm very passionate about that conspiracy.
If you
Anytime I
have,
hear someone say, I'm like, oh my god, one of us.
if you have video evidence, shoot it our way. The whole
Yes,
game. We want to
please.
see the whole
I
game.
want to see the whole
The
game.
whole
No
game.
AI.
Yeah, no AI. All right, check it out. When you hear the word Latino, Latina, I don't know if you ever heard of Latinx term. What comes to mind first? First thing that comes to mind.
Culture.
Culture. Awesome.
I would say culture for sure.
Do you consider yourself Latino? Do you prefer to be Boliviano, Mexicano? Digo, not Mexicano, but
What did you say? No,
what
I'm
is
just
it?
kidding.
Hispano, humano, human. What do you prefer?
uh, I prefer, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too picky. I'm not one that's like, don't, I mean, I'll correct someone if they're like, oh, are you like Mexican,
Mexican.
Colombian? I'll be like, no, I'm Bolivian. I'll say it one time. But I am Bolivian, Latino, human. I like the human. I feel like we do miss a lot of the times. It's like, while there is a lot of culture and there's like, everyone does have a background and where they're from, we're all still human, and
Yeah,
we got to make sure we treat each other as such.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. That's correct too. Yeah, some people like preferences, but it's amazing that you're here to tell us about Bolivia from what you know. And
Yeah.
so, growing up in Bolivia, let's start the interview part. So, when you growing up in Bolivia for you, what is life for you like? What did it seem to you when you were there? And
So,
what area were you born in La Paz and grew up
mhm.
in La Paz or anywhere around?
No, I was born and lived and kind of raised. I guess I lived there till I was 7, and then moved.
Mm-hmm.
But my time in Bolivia, it was a lot of fun. I felt like it was. I was surrounded by my family there, and so is I'm fortunate enough to see them and like for them to be able to come and visit sometimes or we visit them. I know a lot of the times when someone goes to another country, it's they're not that fortunate. You may not
Mm-hmm.
see your family for a while, and so um, for me, that's mainly the thing that I connect with Bolivia is like my family, my roots. And I'm fortunate. I have amazing family here. I love my family here, but it is something about just where you were born and being raised. A lot of like Latin music. A lot of like my mom loved Shakira and um, J Lo and all that, and so just it reminds me of just like it's weird because in Bolivia, and then I'm sure it's like I feel like every Latin household, the Sunday morning cleaning
Yeah.
and all of that. But I'm like, oh dang, you guys do that here in the States too, and and finding out other people do the same is just
Something about the culture of that
something
part does
about
not go
it's
away.
like
It
cleaning
transfers
and loud
from one to
music.
the next.
Yep.
Okay, what is your happiest memories over there? Do you like? Is it the food? I know you said family, but is there anything else that stands out? Is it the scenery? Is it just doing particular activities in there while you were 7 years old or growing up there?
Um, growing up, man, I would honestly I would say the food was awesome. I didn't realize how different it is, until you go somewhere else. But it's there they do have so many just like everyone I feel like can cook something up, and it's always homemade. It's you got the caseras on the side, always selling something fresh that they baked in the morning. Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me. And yeah, I would say yeah, I would say food, and even just whenever going back to visit, like your palate expands. So even like you're asking about anticucho, a lot of people may not know anticucho is cow heart. And so,
Mm.
I didn't know this as a kid. My mom's just, like, feeding me this. I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then, like, you're older and you're like, "You fed me what?" And then,
You still eat it though, right?
it took like, I felt like I took a break. I was like, I was, like, a little grossed out by it, but then I was like, "Man, what am I talking about?" It
Right.
was really good, and so, they do sell that on, like it's like a late night, like, food vendor kinda situation. They'll fire it, like, they'll cook it over the fire with some, like, potatoes and some like spicy peanut sauce and yahua, which is like their native, like the native like spice, like hot sauce kind of thing
Yeah.
that they make. And so stuff like that. It's like I feel like a lot of the dishes really do bring me back.
You said a word earlier, and I don't know if I missed it or if I heard cocineras, something like that,
Oh,
or what?
caseras.
Caseras. What is that exactly?
Um, there's a lot of like the like I guess like street markets, or like they'll have like corner stores. I guess they would
Mm-hmm.
you could have corner stores, right? But then they also have people that will set up on the street. So and like Plaza Murillo and like the big like downtown areas where they'll have parks and all of that. Um, you'll see a lot of them just set up on the side, and they'll sell stuff from uh, you know the movie that just came out to the food. You can honestly find anything. They'll just have it all out there, and it's
Caseras.
caseras. Yeah, I don't know
Ah,
if that's the official term. That's what
yeah,
we call them. And then
yeah,
also,
of course.
I found this Instagram page recently, and it's called the American Bolivian Collective, and so it's pretty cool because it's like a lot of people from the U.S. that are
Hmm.
Bolivian Americans essentially. Um, and it's like a support group of us.
That's cool.
Not support group, but it was just like I didn't know that many people here in Dallas, like other than like my mom and like people that she knew that are Bolivian, and but I just didn't know really too many people. So seeing other people that are like okay, kind of my age, maybe they the, Maryland has a big Bolivian population, so it's like a lot of them are from there. But it's really cool. I was like, okay, dang, we did all kind of have a similar growing, being there and moving to the states, and
Yeah.
we do remember, the caseras and all of that.
Is there a particular restaurant, Bolivian restaurant here in the Dallas area, Fort Worth area? That you heard of so far or no?
No, there is this lady that does plates. I think her name
Mm.
is Maddie.
So here in the DFW, they might know, the Bolivian community might know Maddie.
I think her name is Maddie. Maddie, I think, yeah. The Bolivians, they went the real,
The real
the real ones.
Bolivians
I feel
for no.
fake, man. Yeah, because I don't know some of the dishes they cook. Like I told you earlier, I was like, my mom might be mad at the one that I don't like. 'Cause, like, it's a big Bolivian. Um, I forgot which soup you said. It was one of those soups that like everyone loves, and they have it on Christmas. And I'm like, I don't like this one, man.
Really? Hey.
Yeah, but hey, difference.
Okay, so at 7 years old, what makes your parents, your family decide to make their way to the U.S.? And how is an immigrant from Bolivia make their way to the U.S.? Is it by undocumented? Of course, you have to make cross all kinds of borders if you want to
Yeah,
make it by train, by
we
walking.
we flew by llamas.
So you,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah, I do have llamas.
We do. No, we flew here. So my mom she got married. She remarried to my stepdad. I call him my dad,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, but he's awesome. He's been like my father since we moved to the States.
Mm-hmm.
And so they worked together, and he was in Bolivia for a while, and then so they figured, okay, let's do the whole life in America. And I didn't really have much to say, but it was it's a very awesome experience. I wouldn't be where I'm at, um, clearly, but who knows what would have been if staying over there. But honestly, I do consider myself so fortunate. I think I feel like I live a pretty awesome life. And um, yeah, it was weird. It was a little weird like moving here. I feel like I'm very fortunate. I moved to San Antonio first. So
Mm-hmm.
we moved from Bolivia to San Antonio. So I lived in San Antonio for about 3 years. But I also didn't know too much English. And so there's a big Hispanic population over there. My school was bilingual. And so I was able to really like, actually, like, if I didn't know something, I could ask in Spanish, and like the teacher knew, and she'd be like, okay, da 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 da. And so to me, that made it so much easier. And they had I think I'm pretty sure I was in ESL Quebec. Yeah, in San Antonio I was, but by the time I came to Dallas, like I felt my English was much better. Didn't have to do any of that. But I felt like San Antonio was a perfect like middle, like transitioning place from Bolivia to like the States.
Okay. So let's backtrack just a bit. So your mom was with your dad. He was able to get you documented correctly to
hmm
move you over, fly you over, and start a life here. Is that how it kind of worked for you?
So yes, I know my mom had to do the whole like like exam, citizenship, and all of that. I was younger, so I don't recall too much of it. I think I was at that age where it's like, okay, you're good. I think I had a student visa for a bit, and then like naturally became a citizen or whatever.
That's cool.
I am a citizen.
That's cool.
I want
So,
to clarify. Nah.
so for any other Bolivian that migrates to the U.S., is there a lot of them? And how is their story? How do they go?
So we did get my grandma to. I'm not trying to put too much family business out here, but yeah, my grandma is a citizen here as well, and so I did remember her like actually having that was a process as well. It took like a couple of years for her to she had her visa, and then obviously getting everything booked takes a while, and it's just it is a process, I think, for everyone that tries to be here legally, but they make that process very
Yeah, because the only reason I asked is because, like, for example, I crossed illegally,
mhm.
100%.
Okay.
I
Hey, there
told
you
you
go.
already, I'm good. I'm a citizen.
He's good now.
Don't come at me. If y'all can if y'all want to, but it was like whatever. But other people, like from Ethiopia, if they
Yeah.
want to come here, they seek asylum. Other
Right.
countries, depending on what's going on, seek asylum. So I didn't want to get your family business. I'm just saying, in
Right.
general, as far as what you heard for the Bolivian
Right.
community, what happens? How is it that one makes their way to the U.S.?
Yeah, from my knowledge, it's such a far country that like I feel like it'd be hard to sneak in here from like Bolivia. You kind of have to plan. I'm sure you could come in and stay, and I'm sure that happens. But I don't know. I felt like I was a little young to kind of
Yeah.
really realize, and didn't know too many people that kind of went through that either. But I know exactly what you mean. Where even whenever people have like the is it the DACA kids,
Yep.
right?
Yep. The
And the
dreamers.
dreamers,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like I had some friends that like they hadn't seen their family from like 20 years, and then it's like they're literally like a border across, and it's like, damn, that sucks, man. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a sad situation, but it's an unfortunate situation. It's not something they asked for, right? Because they were kids. it's kind of like you and myself. We came here at 11. You know, barely missed the dreamer part because I was good. My dad, was good enough to get us to residency in the beginning until
Okay.
I became a citizen. So I was a resident for a long
Where'd
time.
you move when you
I,
came
I
here?
was in Mexico till I was 11. I came
Okay.
here, crossed illegally, and then resident years later, and then citizen not that long ago.
Okay.
Even though I was a veteran and I served this country, it doesn't really matter. You still have to go through the
Thank
process.
you for your
And
service.
you're welcome. Don't ask me to do it again. Well, I can say it to you, but the government, they asked me because I kind of sort of said that I would. Like, I'll
Oh,
be down, but anybody else, no.
okay. There you go. Uncle
It's
Sam,
like, you
don't look
promised
this
to
way.
protect it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I did once. You did your time, but
Can we go back on track and count the one that I did previously?
right? Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the reason why I ask. I mean, I know we don't
yeah.
get too personal with family, but
Nah,
thank
I
you for
know.
sharing, though. I
Yeah,
appreciate it
yeah.
because,
Of
again, I don't know,
course.
maybe even on that Instagram page, the support group page, maybe you find stories of people
Yeah,
sharing things
and
like
it's
that,
been great, and I hope that when people the 3 Bolivians listening to this, when I hope when they listen to us, it's like that group did make me feel, I'm like, dang, it's not just me out here, and um, but it's cool, I don't think I never took it as like any kind of I found so many like Hispanic friends down here. It was like
Yeah,
it made it, and I felt like every kind of Spanish is different, so I feel like I learned Mexican, Honduran, El Salvadorian Spanish, all the above Spanish. Like how
yeah.
do you say straw?
Popote,
In Bolivia, it's bombilla,
bombilla,
but other places say it's
different.
yeah. Straw is the one that I found that it's like
The only one I
50
know for
different names.
Mexican, popote.
Yeah, and
That's
I've,
it.
I've heard that one.
But I heard the other terms too.
Yeah,
They didn't stick, but I know other places call it different stuff
yeah.
like bombilla.
Anytime you have a Hispanic, you should ask. That should be one of the intro questions. Like, how do you say straw in your native Spanish?
I'm asking that. Okay, so for example, when I got here to the United States, of course, I had to learn the language too. I was in ESL for some time, but I found myself and other people that I know too that I talk to like an identity crisis because you kind of sort of don't. It's not that you're ashamed of your culture or anything. It's because maybe you just want to blend in so much and you want to hurry up and learn the language because maybe your family needs it because of this or
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Did you run into that at all whatsoever? Where you maybe not necessarily ashamed, but not so much um, telling everybody that you went for Bolivia and how magical your place is because it's freaking amazing. Bolivia is amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it really is. And absolutely, I felt like, I think that's why I liked San Antonio a lot, was just because it was very easy. I didn't really think about it, but, moving to Dallas, I did see, like I went from like almost a full Hispanic school to like almost a full, like, not full, but it did become like more culture, but it was like very predominantly white. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and like kids being kids, they don't know where Bolivia. Like, oh, you Mexican? I'm like, no, and then you don't want to correct them, and then
Yeah.
I do know what you mean as far as like the shame, and yeah, I'd feel like it's just like it was a lot to explain, and then just telling like your whole backstory, and I'm like, I, yeah, sure, whatever, I am Mexican. But yeah, I did see a little bit of that definitely growing up.
That's cool. All right, let's take it to what you've been doing lately. So, media, was that anything? Was that a dream of yours? Was that anything that you had in mind to do media, to be in media, to do podcasting, to be out in event and doing events? Is that a thought of yours growing up at all?
Not like the media side of things. I knew I could never rap. I knew I could never go to the league. But like I always really liked keeping up with that kind of stuff, the culture, pop culture, and I felt like I remember just watching a lot of like complex news back in like the mid 2000s, and they would go and cover like the Supreme drop, but then they would also cover like the new Kanye album, and then they would also cover other stuff, and I was like, "That's so cool." And like I remember, me and my other founding fathers, we all had that same kind of similar interest, and then eventually, created the group.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, what was your first introduction to hip hop? Do you remember which one was the first artist that you were like for example, for myself, barely learning how to speak English, missed a lot of from
Yeah,
0 to 11. I missed a lot of the things. So
yeah,
even to this day, some people bring some stuff up. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what do
right,
you mean? I'm like,
right.
maybe I missed it in that window.
Hmm.
But once I got introduced to hip hop, the first group I ever heard was Bone Thugs and Harmony
Oh, nice.
performing.
Okay.
Uh, which one was it? Not the first of the month, but the other one. Damn, why did it leave me? The other Bone Thugs and Harmony song, Crossroads.
Okay.
So Crossroads was the first video I seen, and then I seen him perform at the MTV, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is freaking
Yeah.
dope!" And ever since I was hooked on hip hop, I always listen to hip hop. But with you, what was that moment like?
Um, Outcast, honestly.
Yeah,
I felt like I knew, and like, um, my folks really weren't too hype on hip hop just because there's like a lot of cursing and stuff. But once I think they found out that like they're like, all right, he actually likes something, he can connect with something, so they would give me CDs here and there, and so Outcast, Love Box, or Love Speaker Box, Love Below. That was my first like album, and I still have it somewhere, but it's like the double tape album. That and then um, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying was like,
classic.
oh man, that. And then Snoop Dogg dropped like right whenever it was Drop It Like It's Hot. And like that era was like, I was like, damn, this is really cool. And I feel like hip hop speaks for a lot of just like the ones that maybe don't fit in. And I
Yeah.
was like, this is cool. And ever since then just been and I do like all kinds of music, but hip hop is the one that's like it's my go to, and it's awesome.
So you realize running into friends in college, uh, one of your, if I'm not mistaken, one of your roommates introduced you to some of the other people, right?
Yeah. So shout out Xavier. So that's my buddy Renee. So
Mm-hmm.
he's part of Up to Something. So
From Panama.
he's from Panama. Yes, and so they're
I be
both
watching y'all. I
Yeah,
know all about y'all. Don't be thinking I know.
he's
I'm no
tuned in.
Narwart. I'm no Narwart or whatever his
He
name is.
might be. He knows
But
all our
but I
nicknames.
know quite a bit of things. Yeah, I think I don't know.
Yeah. And so they're So yeah, me and Xavier were cool just at Texas Tech, and then Renee came and visited. We just started chopping it up, and it's like, okay, we like the same kind of artists and all of that, and then kind of went from there. Moved to Dallas. He had some like other friends. He knew Shamir, and Shamir knew Daniel, and we all had very similar interests, and just started hanging out and kicking in. And
Okay, so take me back to the conversation 2016. Well, look at that with them
the
numbers.
year, dude,
2016,
damn.
baby. Y'all have a conversation. Y'all kind of sort of talk about, maybe joke around. Oh, we should start a podcast. We should talk about this because y'all have all kinds of common interests, right? Yeah, like hip hop,
Yep.
sneakers, the culture itself. So, what was that conversation? I know there was mentions this and that and different things like that, but it's to your best recollection because I know you're the one that's the record keeper. You have books of notes that you've taken about that. What do you recall about it? I'm good,
Uh,
right? I'm good, right?
you're good. You've done your homework. Dang. I will say Shamir came up with the name Up to Something. And I think before we came up to something, we were, kind of just writing just
There was
names and
another name that was kind of prevalent, but yeah, kind of sort of didn't go with it.
yeah. Do you know it? I don't know.
Couldn't
Okay,
remember
okay,
immediately,
okay.
but
Yeah, and so
something about I want to. I should have wrote it down. I
it's
forgot to write
okay.
it
No,
down.
we did one full like pilot episode, and it's hidden in the internet, so no one can ever
What's
find
it
it.
called?
But it was we were like we should be called Hype and Hip Hop.
Hype and hip hop. It
Hype.
was hype and hip hop. I knew it. Too.
And so it was very similar to what we thought we were gonna do, and it's crazy because like a couple months ago we like unlocked it and just listened to it, and it was really funny to see just where our lives were in 2016, and like we're still the same kind of stupid sometimes, and just some of the things we say. But it was cool just reflecting like, okay, we went from just like shooting the shit at the kitchen table to okay, we doing shows, we're doing like, podcasts, have a, it's come a long way, but it's been awesome.
Okay, so have you ever thought of maybe doing a reaction video to your first episode and
No,
narrate
we
through?
should. We should. I don't know. It's cringy, man. It's funny. Like whenever you read the intro, it's like we were very unfiltered at first, and I feel like we try to just always be true. So if it's like we hate something, like Shamir hates Jay-Z, he's gonna grow up one of these days and he's gonna
I can see
appreciate
why. It was weird.
Jay-Z. No, man, Jay-Z's.
Bro, he's not what
Uh,
they cut him. If you're a successful person, you're gonna be on top of your game, business wise. When you get to it, you got to be ruthless, relentless. And
yeah.
some people are gonna be on your way, and some people are
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
stepping stools for you
Jay
to get
stabbed
there.
people. He's gone to jail. Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely.
That part, maybe I'm not the biggest fan.
And
And to
that
me, the
rightfully so.
rapping part is just not my style. Of
Okay. Do
people
you like
that I
Playboy
like,
Cardi?
huh?
Do you like Playboy Cardi?
He's all right too.
Who? If you had to pick
To
Playboy
be honest,
Cardi,
nowadays I'm not too much into the
okay.
hip hop, but I still like the 50s, the
Right,
Eminems,
right, right.
the Kendricks, all the
Lyrical.
lyrical
Did you
ones.
hear the Kendrick?
I haven't, but I heard the Eminem Doomsday too.
What
He
Eminem
just I
got?
don't know if he dropped it recently, but I just heard
Okay.
one that is pretty. I like it.
Okay, I gotta check it
It's
out.
neat.
Nice.
Yeah,
I liked some Shady more than Eminem.
yeah.
It sounds messed up, but he was way better on drugs. It's terrible, but his music back then was like
I mean, it's another side of creation.
it really is. It's like
Yeah,
two parts of an
yeah.
artist. I feel like so. It's I don't think they're the same, but and it doesn't take anything away from Eminem. He's I feel like still definitely one of the best. But yeah, so it definitely man, I forgot where we
So
started
we
on
were
this.
sidetracking. Okay, before that though, hype and hip hop. Why made y'all want to start to talk about that? Where did the conversation set? I know that y'all just mentioning, but when did the
Yeah,
decision begin to like let's do it? Let's do
I
at least
think
one.
right, and I think it became well. We already had a group chat at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
so we
Okay, an
everything.
international group chat.
Yeah, the it is very. It's the chat is now like the United Nations. It's we got it, everyone on there. Um, but back then it was everything that we would have talked about in an episode. We were already talking about via chat. Like, did y'all hear the new album? Oh, what'd you think about the sneaker drop? Oh, those are weak. Blah blah blah. Like, dang, stuff like that. And then we're like, man, Complex is doing a great job. Like, what if we did something like that here in Dallas? And not even just Complex. Like Deezus and Mero has a great podcast, but they had a great show. Not podcast, but like stuff like that. We're like, man, other people are doing it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see
Yeah.
if people tune in. Not too expensive. Get a couple mics, give it a shot, and then you know it is. I feel like at anytime an artist, and I don't consider ourselves really artists as a group, but anytime you put out any kind of like creative, any kind of product, like you are nervous the first time. You're like, what? How is this going to be received? And but we did it, and I think we got enough support, or
Yeah.
we were enough in our heads. Like, okay, that was good enough. Let's try it again. You know.
So in the chat, kind of sort of grows that let's do this.
Yep.
Um, hype and hip hop, or what was it?
Yeah, it was like that for like a day, and then
But
we're like, no, 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 we can't.
and then Shamir came out with
Up to
up to
some.
something.
Yep.
And then I know the other gentleman, the Mexican gentleman,
Daniel. Yes.
Daniel, was kind of sort of messing with the logo, but it's kind of a resemblance to the Dallas area because it
Yeah.
has the
So actually, the logo, my tia Vivi, she's
hmm
also Bolivian too. She actually did the logo for us, and so yeah, it was. We did see like the Pegasus. We're like, man, that's a really great representation of Dallas. And I think previously we just had like a stock image, and I think Daniel did do a lot of really cool like graphics for it. But then we're like, man, we need something that's like just us, not just like pictures and font. But like, man, it's been I like the logo a lot. We do have a couple like alternate logos and stuff we're looking with as far as for merch and so. But yeah, we did want to kind of have something that resembled Dallas.
yeah, and then up to something. The name was kind of sort of like a reference to a couple songs that in regards to up to something, and then that's how
Yeah.
you. I think you said was it Drake or was it somebody else?
Yeah, there was on Jumpman,
Yeah,
them boys up to something. So Drake Future, and then there was another I think Travis Scott song is like they're up to something. And so I remember like the first, and I think we started just kind of making it. So first it was just audio, and then I remember Renee coming up with an intro with like let's get ready to rumble like WWE, and then you hear like the music, them boys up to something, and we just like I remember we all kind of were like, oh shit, we might have something here. And
yeah.
like you ready to fight after hearing it, and then you just hear us talking reckless. But yeah, that was a good time.
I know COVID changed y'all a lot, right? Because at one time y'all were doing decent, but then COVID came, but they made change and take it more serious as far as doing what y'all doing, correct? What
Yeah.
exactly happened? Well, of course, COVID happened, but what happened within y'all's group that made y'all want to do more of it?
Yeah, I think we definitely were just speaking more. I think everyone kind of had, I think COVID was different for everyone. I think we found ourselves with just a little bit more time to actually like, okay, how can we make this better? Okay, what could we change? And so, we while things were kind of shut down, I think we had a good amount of just FaceTime calls, virtual calls, and then when everything's were kind of opening back up, we're like, all right, let's try to figure something out, and we started switching it up, getting some guests on the podcast. Um, it started with just even well, and then here's where we're pretty fortunate is a lot of our close friends are extremely talented, and so it started with just us asking, friends who have their own, who are creatives in their own right or talented individuals, and then okay, we got a good platform here, and then just kind of expanding it from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your very, very first guest? If I'm not mistaken, the first video I seen was Sonia of the ones that I've
I
seen, but I
think
don't know if there's any more in the
yeah,
archives.
we had a couple. Trying to think, we interviewed Xavier, Renee's brother, um, on audio. So Sonia was the first one that we did on video, the first like podcast
Okay.
interview. So that was a great one to just start it off with. But before that, no, we had Xavier, we had our friend Janet, and we even had my roommate on there at one time. Jonathan was on there, and it was like a lot of just like very just shooting the shit. We'll have our topics. This is kind of what we'll go over, and then see. And we've gotten a lot better. We used to we used to get we used to drink a decent amount before. Like this will make us funnier, and then it would.
Daniel is really good at prepping for interviews.
Daniel's
You do
the
your
best inter.
research.
Yeah.
You do your research too, because I seen you interact on the interviews, getting
Mhm,
stuff ready. At least look some stuff up to have some
mhm.
key points to talk about wherever you are,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and be relatable to whoever the guest is.
yeah. Thank you, man. And it's I think we all have our own different like kind of interview styles. I say Daniel is definitely by far like he asks the best questions and phrases them very well, very
Yep.
thought provoking, and so I think everyone, when we have guests on, we really try to just make it a great atmosphere for them to just hang out, feel comfortable. We want to get to know you more, conversation. I think there is just you can tell sometimes it's like I feel like we were very like I like this. This is like a good just like questions, conversation, and I feel like
Right.
we were like very interviewive a while, and then it's like okay, no, switch it up, and so then you find your good groove once you start going.
Yeah. Where's Shamir from?
Jameer's from Pakistan.
Pakistan.
He's actually in the motherland right now.
Okay. I've been doing a installment of our episode of our podcast called Exchanging Cultures,
I seen.
where
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
helps me be
Ethiopia?
more in Ethiopia,
You're right.
Taiwan,
Mhm.
and then I have Vietnam and other people that are going to be coming that we can just
Awesome.
talk about our upbringing, how was
Yeah.
life like that, just to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And if you be down, I'll be happy to do an exchanging cultures
Absolutely.
kind of episode because it'll be kind of, I just, it just opens up
You
the
learn way more,
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Because maybe I
definitely.
won't make it over there. Hopefully I do. But if I don't, then I have the closest thing for the moment so
Yeah.
you can tell me like
A
you
true Pakistani.
but you talking to me about Bolivia. Again, if it wasn't because you were here, I wouldn't not think
Right.
to look into it and
Right.
realize, bro, yeah, I have some crazy looking places,
I
amazing
thought you were gonna say
looking.
people for a
No,
second,
no, no.
man.
There's a lot of indigenous people which
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh,
about,
yeah.
and a lot,
Yeah,
a
my
large
grandma's
amount,
dark, man.
a large
Yeah.
amount of indigenous individuals, and you have own identity. El Alto has his own thing.
Yeah.
La Paz has their own thing, and just the scenery in general, and just being able to be and survive and coming from that place, high altitude, and just making it through, in such a small area, but I think somebody was saying that like it because of the water and everything else that's around it, it grew up so fast. The city, all those buildings,
Yeah.
compared to a lot of places in the world, and that's crazy that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So I can't call myself the global Latin factor if I don't know a lot of the
Right.
other places, other culturas, other Latinos around
Yeah.
in our in our own community.
No, absolutely. And that, honestly, that's why I commend your show. I really like the show. You learned so much about different cultures and different people, and so I remember, and I think I messaged you or when I met you, I was like, "Man, I've seen this background a good amount of times because I've been following, but I've always see the Bolivia flag right next to you." So I was like, "We got to make this happen."
Absolutely. Okay, so you have some very interesting, some very notable guests. One of them being, well, there's a few of them, but one of them being Dietrich Weiss Jr. The one that trips me out the most that I had was that Ron Killings, our truth.
Yeah,
Okay, so what was your real thoughts at that time? Whenever he just seemed like he would just like
when he
this
was,
for a second, like he was having a moment of something, and all of a sudden he just went into some kind of character, and it was just I'm gonna send Carlos the interview, but there's a moment of time in the beginning where he seems like he's just holding his nose, like he's going into something, and all of a sudden he's like,
What's up, dog?
what's up?
What's up?
What's
I put the tracks. I put in for an interview. What we doing here?
Who the hell are you? And he had just finished introducing himself. What was your real thoughts at that time? What the hell was happening to you?
man, everything went really slow for a bit because he like looks at me and then like he had said our names several times, was really friendly. We were talking before we record. We're chopping it up for a bit, and then he just acted like he didn't, he just like a brain reset. And our truth is a legend. But he's also been punched in the head a lot. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, he's about to throw us through the table. Like he's about to beat our ass. And so like for a quick second, I just freeze. I'm just like looking, and then I'm like, this has to be a prank of some sort. And you know, shout out Smooth Vega. He actually like kind of put the pieces together. He brought him to the studio, and we ran the interview with him. And then like I felt like I had seen him just kind of like cracking up in the corner. I was like, okay, I think we're safe here. I was like, I don't think he's gonna, because I mean,
But for a while, you were real
I was
awkward.
like,
But he drug it on for a minute too.
man, he did. He really did. And like, he got up. He like was leaving. He was telling his manager, he's like, nah, we gotta go. Like, I don't feel like, he's like, I don't know. Like, just completely. And you're like, he's like, I'm just kidding. And then, oh man, yeah, it was terrifying for a second. I thought he was about to just whoop our ass.
It was one of the craziest thing I ever seen as far as an interview. How good he was. How he sold it.
He's a man. He is an entertainer for sure.
Yeah.
He raps too.
Yeah.
He had a
That's how he started. He said in the interview.
Yeah, man. And
with Tupac. He met Tupac.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, man. And we actually like he had a show either that day or the day after, and so we hosted his concert in I think it was in Fort Worth, and he has like his whole catalog. He had dancers. I was like, man, I like to see just someone that was like passionate. So even though he may be like one of the wrestling legend or whatever, he's definitely a wrestling legend, but he's also like, I love to rap. This is what I'm like. I'm putting on shows, and so like, good for him, man.
I met another person that Latino rapper or Mexican rapper that actually smoked with Tupac or hung around Tupac, which is the lightest shade of brown.
Okay.
There's two of them. One of them I got to interview before he passed, Bobby, and he was telling me how they smoked with Tupac. And I was
Dang.
like tripping out. I'm like,
Oh,
wow.
was it cool?
I mean, come on, it's just being there.
Yeah, that's just legendary, man.
Yeah.
We spoke with I was like, yeah, I can say that. He said on our podcast. So we had Jesus Castillo Midnight on on the podcast.
I know him from when he was hosting clubs.
Oh, okay.
I know him, or I know of him. I don't think he might remember me, but I've been around when he was there. He used to hang around with DJ X. 303, he used to host. And
he was saying he used to do a lot of like club appearances and stuff. And he's so funny, man. He's hilarious. And so he tours right now with Ralph Barbosa, and so I know they were like in the green room with like Chappelle. Like Chappelle, like they were performing in, I think, like one of the popular like LA ones, and like Chappelle just popped in. I think they all like kicked
the
it.
Comedy Store or something like that.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. They have a couple different ones. I think Comedy Store, I think, is one of the bigger ones. I think it may have been that one. And then like I guess he popped in. They like smoked together. I'm like, man, like I don't know. Chappelle's like one of my heroes. That's one of my goats. And so,
you know what's crazy? How life is. Ralph Barbosa. I help sometimes with a nonprofit, Jason's Dream, and we do put together car shows.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the car shows, we got to have the Gas Monkey in and out.
Okay.
For the parking lot and the inside. When Gas Monkey Live was still open.
Right, yeah. All right.
We had a show inside. Ralph Barbosa was one of the guys that was going to be part with Flo Hernandez to do a small thing. I didn't even know who he was at that time.
Yeah.
And
when was this?
He's on the flyer a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years back, maybe or so.
Okay.
But he's on the flyer, dude. That I was like, until one of the homies.
You see it later, and then you kind of.
I was like, dude, if this guy was when we were just in the same thing, I didn't realize who he was. I know he was from the clip.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the barbers where he went, I know the lady very well. We done some stuff together.
Okay, because he's a barber too, I think.
Yeah,
or he would. Yeah,
that's how he started.
That's awesome.
So I even know who. I think she's one of the ones that trained him, or maybe he went to school. He used to work out at that place where in the cliff, and I was like, wow, that dude was right there.
And now he's on Netflix. No, he's killing it, man. He's repping. I feel like he's repping Dallas extremely well.
Yeah.
I've been really getting into. I feel like I've always been a comedy fan, and this is definitely like I'm gonna do my first like I want to do some stand up, and so
You want to do some stand up?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
No, it's something that's been on like on my list for like years. I've just been a big like comedy is like an art on its own,
Yeah, absolutely.
and so it wasn't until like I felt like this last like year or so that I'm like I'm gonna actually do it, and so I'm actually like, working on the content, piecing it together, and putting some like mini sets. Nothing crazy, like
When does
5
it
minutes.
debut, do you think?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm
Remember what
I'm hoping
Midnight say? In 3 minutes, feel like
they
it's an
yeah.
hour.
Oh man,
So you have to
I
have
know
some
it.
stuff down.
And so I'm gonna hit him up. I want to run some stuff by him, and because I definitely it's a lot, man. It can be nerve wracking, but it's something that I want to do, and it's like I find extremely like I don't know. I can't say I'm passionate about it because I haven't done it yet, but I really want to try.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Chappelle for
Yeah,
sure.
same thing.
Yeah.
I think he's the dopest. You know the way he does it, the fishbowl, where he takes
Oh yeah,
and he
and
just
right.
goes off of it,
Yeah,
or either is the starter
goes it
or the
backwards.
punchline.
Yeah.
And he tell you the punchline, and
Yeah.
you still
Oh
gonna laugh at the
man,
end.
he's just I think one of the best like storytellers as
Yeah.
well, and so not only the funniest, but when he incorporates it all into a story, like he's like you can see like when he talks, like people like lean in, they want to listen. Okay, and then he just says some
Yeah.
hilarious thing, and so
I like Cat Williams too. I think
Cat's
he's super
good.
dope. But as far as Latinos, just because maybe I got to interview him, Alex Raimundo, the
Okay.
Hispanic long hair. He was in one of the original like he's a comedy. He has his own
Oh,
tequila.
okay.
Ron Williams, he used to run. They're homies. They created a tequila, a number one tequila, which is
Okay.
really good. Uh, I think he's one of the funnier. George Lopez, he had his moments, but
Yeah.
Espinosa,
Yeah.
I forget his first name. What's his name?
Not Carlos, no.
No, Espinosa's his last name.
I
My bad, bro. If you ever, I know you're not gonna be part of the podcast anymore, but
You never
him, he's
Okay.
really good. It's but and then Ralph, of course,
Yeah.
recently just been doing his thing.
Yeah, and then you know who else I've been? It's actually Bolivian comic. I saw him last week. Martin Amini. He's kind of like been popping recently, and but he's Bolivian, and it felt like it's crazy small world. So the Instagram page I was telling you, his wife runs it.
What?
Yeah, so they're like they're outshining me on the Bolivian American kind of thing, but I'm coming. I'm gonna catch up.
That's pretty cool, though.
But no, it
That's
is really
dope.
amazing because like he even shares just a lot of like hilarious like immigrant jokes, and um it's like you can kind of laugh at the pain because it's like but no, he's hilarious. He does great crowd work, and then his wife runs the
That's
Instagram, so it's really cool. They're putting on for sure, man.
man, that's dope. I know you had I'm not gonna be salty on this one. DJ Very Wave.
Oh yeah, we have very wavy.
So
yeah.
I DM her, but I was never seen. But it was cool because I knew she was doing her thing, and I enjoyed the conversation. She's really good. Mexico City is where my dad was born,
Okay.
so I've been there before.
Okay.
It was
Nice.
pretty cool. How did y'all find her? How did you know about her? It's on TikTok. How do you reach out to her? Thank you so much for checking out this full episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe. Leave us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment that you were here today. Thank you very much. Till next time. I'm trying to figure out how to.
Man, honestly,
kidding.
I think right place, right. Well, not really. Daniel actually put us on, so me and the boys took a trip to Miami, and this was probably 2020, 2021. And so
Yeah.
at this point, he's like, yo, there's this DJ, and she put some insane mixes together. And so we had listened to, I'm trying to think, it's called Very Latin, or something along those lines is like the mixtape, or the mix, or the playlist that she has
So that
on
was
SoundCloud.
That was the songs when y'all were on the road trip.
Oh yeah, so it was like an hour playlist, and so and you're in Miami, and so like Calle Ocho, then we hit the beach, and it's just like we have that bump, and it's like the playlist is like I still listen anytime like it's getting warmer outside. It's like that playlist
Nice.
about to come on.
That's cool.
And so
You need to send it to me, please.
I will. Yeah,
wanna
it's
bump it.
amazing, and so that's kind of how we all kind of figured out about her, or we kind of got to know about her, and then we had definitely messaged her, tried to but I know she's extremely busy as well. She's doing a lot of
Yeah, she's doing tour.
really putting
She's about to
she's
tour again,
yeah
2024.
she's killing it, man. She's another like Latina that's I think representing extremely well for
Absolutely.
Dallas, and so finally, like, she did definitely hit us up and just was down to do the pod, and so we were very fortunate. I don't think she has that, like, too many. I think she does. Yeah, I don't think she has too
She
many
doesn't have it, but yeah,
interviews,
did
and
a great
so
job to figure
eh,
out how she got started, how she did her thing. So it was great.
yeah,
I enjoyed the episode.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for checking it out, man. She's an extremely talented individual.
Awesome. Awesome. What other interviews stand up to you, moments in the podcast that you have done that stands up to you, that maybe people might just overlook it, but to you was like very significant? Anything stands out?
Um, yeah, honestly, one I didn't really think about was we interviewed we had two people on the podcast. So we had Andy Den. He's a photographer, videographer out of Houston. And so now he's like I think he mainly shoots for Bun B, and like, but he does like, if you haven't checked him out, like, his stuff is insane. He's shot Drake, Bun B, Coca-Cola, like, like, list goes on. He is extremely
Yeah.
talented. So we had him and Maya Piata. She's a soul singer here out of Dallas, and so extremely talented. And we had them both on just because they're friends and they knew Renee, and I had known both of them for a little bit prior to it as well, and it was just a good. I like that conversation because it almost, we did start having talking about just like our background, and so, like, Andy's from Vietnam,
Mm,
and so he came to the States, like, I think right around the same age that I did,
wow.
and so it was like that to me. That one was like, I was like, I took a step back. I think Daniel was the one that asked, like, how was it for you to, like, come from Bolivia, and how was it for you to, like, come from Vietnam? And it was just, it's crazy how many just people, like, from all over the world, different kind of immigrant lives. It's just, things that led us to be here at
Daniel
the.
was ahead of his time doing the things that I do now with the exchange of
Yeah,
culture.
yeah. He asked.
Learn about
Yeah,
him.
he asked us months ago. No, but yeah, man. That one though, I think was a very
That's pretty good.
good time. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's something about the power in sharing the trip, being an immigrant, being able to have journeys. Somebody from the other side of the world
yeah,
compared to your story coming from this very secretive, almost hidden place,
yeah.
and coming
It's like
into the
Wakanda,
U.S. Kind of like that,
Bolivia, Wakanda.
bro. It's just like it.
Yeah,
Even to get there and to get out of it, I
yeah.
heard it's a
It's.
journey.
I don't think they do direct flights. It's. Yeah, I've never. It's always like go to Miami, then El Salvador, then
Yeah,
Bogota, then there. It's tough to get there,
bro. And then
man.
again, the Wakanda part, the
Yeah,
sceneries of
you got to go in
the
there.
man.
Flying
I'm
llamas, man.
I'm gonna go.
I hope you do.
I'm
I
gonna
really
go.
hope you get to go,
But you're
man.
gonna take me. I
I
don't know.
I
You don't
got
know
you.
yet. You don't know yet. You're gonna take
I'll
me.
show you, man.
Okay, so yeah, dive into the podcast. You're doing the podcasting, but where's the idea of? Of course, you're a media company, but where's the idea of creating events, diving into events, becoming part of events? Because you're done carne asada, Centro Popular. You have your own events that you put together. So where does that conversation come to be? Where's the idea of generating an event, an experience, kind of, because that's
Yeah.
what you shoot for. Really, a lot of the times, it's not just the event itself, but the experience of the entire event.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the very first event that we did was the pop up. So we have our friend of a podcast is Larry G, extremely talented singer in the Dallas area. And so he had an event which was like kind of an artist showcase, market situation, and then so we up to something hosted that one. So that was kind of just like the foot in the door, and like really seeing how well we networked, or getting to meet other people. It was like, okay, this is different than just podcast release. Um, so excuse me, but going from there, then the first one I would say, definitely shout out Sonia. We got to host that first Carne Asada, the first and second one. Um, and then really, like, through every event that we've worked, we learned something. Okay, what could we do there? What could what kind of went wrong? And it is a learning experience because we get to, like, now we kind of do our own shows, and we'll definitely be like working collab with other people, and so, but that's kind of where we started. I would say is the pop up with Larry, and then Sonia definitely gave us an opportunity. And I do want to shout out the guys at Greenhouse Production. It's this group out of Fort Worth. Now I think they're kind of based in Dallas, but they took a shot on us on an event pretty early on. It was called like Christmas in July,
Oh, wow.
and it was in Fort Worth. I think we didn't know too many people. It was just four of us. We were literally just had a playlist. We're like, all right, everyone send songs to the playlist because we like had we were hosting, and so we were bringing out artists, but music in between, and then we really had that place. It was a warehouse. It was a small, hot ass warehouse, but we had it like packed and jumping, and that was the first time that we like actually got paid on a gig, and so to me that was I was like, man, that was okay. It's a little business on this, and then those guys have always shown us mad love. Even now to this day, events that we produce and we put on, um, they always have a helping hand. They'll make sure audio's good and they're an amazing group. But yeah.
Yeah. So you actually have one of the events coming up soon, right?
Yeah, we
Tell me
actually
about that.
we have two events. So April 26th. I do want to just
Go ahead.
confirm.
Yeah, absolutely. Take your time. Yeah, it's amazing that y'all had an opportunity for the connections y'all made. They were able to bring y'all. They saw that y'all had potential to maybe do something, and y'all did it,
Yeah,
and they got paid for it.
and
That's
no,
cool.
absolutely. And so even just any time that anyone's taken a chance on us to host, it means a lot because I feel like hosting is kind of just one of those like, what do you really do? But with that, we also make sure we bring a crowd and all of that. But um, yeah, we do have shows coming up. April 26th, we actually have it's called the Interlude. So this is a artist showcase that we're gonna host
Hmm.
at Ruins in Dallas and
Nice.
Deep Ellum. And so I know we have Cozy Campos. That's Renee's DJ name. So Cozy Campos is going to be spinning. Him, Anaya Henry are going to be DJing. And then I know we have Cauliflower and EJ Galvez performing. So um, come catch a vibe. I think tickets are $5 or $10. Very, very cheap. It's going to be a great time. Great artist, honestly. And then it's going to be a lot of fun. And then
April.
April 26th for that one.
If we get the episode before, I put the link on the description.
Okay,
So send it
okay.
to me so I can put the link in there.
I got you. I got you.
So and those are artists that y'all known personally, y'all worked with before, y'all heard about. Or how do y'all go?
A
About
little bit of
selecting
both,
them?
a little bit of everything, and so, um, I think Renee knows more of like so I know he knows Anaya. I think they've met through DJs, and I've heard her mix like a couple times, and she's extremely talented. Kali as she's been in the scene I feel like for a while, and she's been honestly killing the promotion with her music, and so very excited to have them. And then so that's the artist showcase, and then we do have we haven't announced that one just yet. That one's coming out soon, the announcement. And then we are doing a first Sunday block party. So we had the first one in January at Four Corner Brewery. So we had a
Nice.
market, we had live music, games. We were selling merch. It was a great time, free event, really just for the community. And so we're gonna do one May 5th. It's gonna look a little bit different just because the space is gonna be different, but we're doing it at Laurel, Dallas. And so, we got some exclusive stuff coming up for just the event specific. And so Laurel, I think, is one of the most amazing fusion restaurants in Dallas. They do it's an Asian smokehouse.
Mm.
So the guy that does Franklin's Barbecue in Austin collabed with the guy that works at or the gentleman that like owns I think Uchiba and Uchi, and so they mix it and make some awesome food. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So up to something media, if anybody was to think, maybe they just realize that the podcast is something that y'all do. But within the group, there's other things that y'all do. What is it that people might not understand of the things that you're able to do? Of course, the hosting, the podcasting, but what else is it that y'all services you could say are that y'all offer or that y'all can help with a company, an event, or whoever's looking for something?
Um, yeah, honestly, I feel like there's four of us and we all have just different strengths. So it's like, if for any kind of event and like Renee has his own like cozy campus. And so, if you want an event, you want an amazing DJ, like that's the dude to hit up. His music knowledge is off the charts. And so he'll
His
play.
dad used to be a DJ
Yeah.
way back in the
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah. His Rene Campos Senior.
I know about you too.
But yeah, he used to do like I remember Renee says he does like actual like disc like actual like
Vinyl?
vinyl. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it's-
rare. That's not a
yeah,
lot of
and
them.
so I'm like, dang, that's very impressive. And so yeah, we do music selection, hosting. We do a lot of video content, and so um like we said, we did some work with El Yucateco. Probably gonna get some more just stuff coming out soon with them as well. Um, but yeah, just any kind of promotion that people need, or we're pretty open. I really want us to have a platform where it's people aren't shut out, and we I'm sure you as well. Like, we get a lot of people DMing and want to be interested, and it's like it does get a little bit tough with just scheduling because like there's four of us, and so we do have to try to make it link, and so
Do
um
y'all prefer for all y'all to be present whenever you do the interview, or is it possible, divide and conquer, right? So, is it maybe two or one of y'all can do the episode just to keep the content flowing,
yeah,
or
yeah, we
how do
we
y'all
we
like it?
do it really just varies case by case. So uh we all have, I think, like like different jobs, and just like Shamir may not be in town as much, and then so but he'll handle stuff on the back end, and
Mm.
if any of us are traveling at the time, we I think we do work pretty well together, and so that's what makes it work. I feel like if we didn't, and at the end of the day, like those are my guys, those are my best friends, and so that even that before a business, and so it's awesome that it's not just like my business partners; those are my dogs.
I feel the brotherly love, bro. Don't cry, don't you? But no, it's good. It's good to
Yeah,
have a solid group of individuals that ride with you that have not only common interest, but I think mostly as mentors aligning.
yeah,
Okay, as far I know I seen some kind of sparkling water that y'all were promoting or was sponsored. The
yeah,
Yucateco, you said. What is your approach in regards to brands, whether they want to hit you up or if you are the ones that are hitting them up to try to see about sponsorship opportunities or just collabing with something? How does that go about for y'all? Or who's the one that
yeah.
does it?
I'll be honest. As a media company, it gets a little difficult to get sponsors, just because
Hmm.
it's like, like what are you guys actually doing? And so I think it was just a lot of trial and error. Yeah, so we did have a partnership with, or not a partnership, we did have a sponsorship with Perrier, and so they came on board and helped host a festival that we were hosting, and then just do some content with them. Um, but honestly, I think it is really just almost a numbers game. You
So
gotta
y'all
just
pitch
send.
the email so to a contact and send them what y'all do, and then maybe hoping that that's something that they can
Right.
align with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think what it's important, and so like what even just doing up to something, my email writing has gotten a lot better, and so it's like I think we all kind of learn, even like even the guys, like I'll see just old DMs of how we used to like ask guests or like try to get a guest, like, hey, come on the pod. Like no one's gonna answer this, and so it's come to like, hey, we have a great platform, da 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 da, and and so like we've all gotten a lot better at that, but I
Doesn't that work a whole lot better for anybody that's interested in going to your podcast than to yo, you should interview me?
oh yeah,
What do you feel
it's
about those words specifically?
yeah, I'm sure you see those, and it's always funny because like I'll see it's like they're like, when are you gonna get me on the pod? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you and stuff like that. But we always do, like anytime I see someone's like, hey, like check out my music. I'm like, okay, send it. Like okay, or even if they want to be on the pod, I'm like, okay, let's hear the music. I want to try to see, like, keep an ear on the what's going on. But
That
yeah,
trips me out the most is that like you're a human being. I'm a human being,
yeah,
right? We communicate, right?
yep,
Maybe even at a level of high school, right? We
yep,
still know how to say, "Hey, hello, my name is so and so.
right,
Hey, I like your stuff. I checked it out. I would
yeah,
love what did you say whenever you hit me up? I already had known about y'all, right?
yeah,
Eventually we are gonna run into each other. But you say, hey,
yeah,
so I like the content, whatever.
mhm,
Hey bro, come through. Let's do it. And then we
yeah,
got to meet. Simple. Very simple. Wrapped it up, put a date on it.
yeah.
Boom, you're here.
That was
But whenever you come with a weird approach, I don't understand where you get the entitlement that you feel like whoever you are to just you should put
they're
me
like
on.
they.
Not 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 to crush your dreams, but like, bro,
No, you can
it's
crush it.
just a
No, I'm just kidding.
communication part, right?
It's just
Straight
being a
up.
good yeah, and it's kind of like kind of like what we were doing before, like, hey, come on the pod, and it's like really just fixing up stuff like that. How are you presentable as a almost as a brand, like, and you're a brand, we are a brand, and so when we send emails or any kind of pitches, or whenever we do get contact back, where it's like I've told the guys, I'm like, make sure we're using our up to something email. I want it to look official. We are,
Yeah,
and so I
absolutely.
want it to like kind of resonate that we're we mean business, and if if you work with us, we want to provide the best experience we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the same thing, like Carlos fixed my signatures to make it look more better as far as emailing back and forth
Yeah,
to look
nice,
like something. You know what I mean?
nice.
So,
Yeah,
and it's just the communication part. Again, it's just very simple. Hi, how you doing? And after that, your chances of you
yeah,
being not only my podcast, y'all, anybody's
yeah.
podcast. because I had other conversations with other podcasters, is a whole lot higher than to send me a link about your music, tell me you should be in the podcast, and blah blah blah. You don't even know how much it costs to run a podcast or to even get an episode or what
Right.
it takes.
Oh,
You're
it's
not even
even time.
subscribed to the channel. You don't
Yeah.
even follow the page. You don't even do none of the
Those
other
are the ones
stuff.
that get me. The ones that don't follow, and then they're like, "Yo, I want to be on."
Or
I'm like,
they want to
"What?"
switch what you're doing and make it something else that you're
Yeah.
not. Because this is what I do. This is just what the dedication of the
Yeah.
timing and the effort of the things that I lined up. This is just what I like. Can I do another type of stuff like whatever? Probably. Is it me genuinely? No. I
Right.
don't want to do the hypey, this, and I and the
Yeah.
vibe and blah blah blah. This is what I do. This is what I
Right.
like. This is what I want to look like. I don't want you to switch my setup.
Yeah.
You don't even like why you looking. Why you want to be in the fire?
Yeah, man. People, it's just fixing that, man. I think it's just part of the growing pains of like learning. Like, okay, I'm not getting any answers on this. I got to try something different.
And I'm not ishing on y'all. I'm just saying, like, and just as you know, the approach and the introduction will get you higher results, period. You know, the likelihood of you being here, it helps whenever you support too, because it's not just take.
Yeah,
It's also give,
absolutely. Yeah,
you know?
especially in like the platforms that we run. We're homegrown. It's a homemade production. Shout out you. Shout out Carlos. And um, any kind of support goes back. Like I'm, just me posting the background. I'm gonna definitely, anyone else that can see it. That's the way to show love. You don't have to buy merch. You don't have to come to the show. You can do small stuff like that. Share something.
You know what I mean? But all those things, like, I'm sorry, I just get passionate about that part because it's just like, why you just want to keep taking? Why are you giving back?
Yeah.
To be able to support you all.
Right.
I've subscribed to y'all stuff.
Right.
I follow y'all. I'll watch your videos because I
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm informed with you to be sure that even if your other partners will be later, maybe in the future here, I want to know
Yeah.
who they are too. So why not? The minimum, it didn't take me that much effort to be able to.
Right.
And then whenever we get messages like y'all do, like other partners, not partners, but fellow podcasters do the same thing. Even in Houston, they have the same problem. Like, bros, just send a friendly, nice message, and your likelihood of you being a guest to
Increases.
their podcast, a guest to my podcast, will be a whole lot higher.
Yep.
And it's just the simplest thing ever. But you're right. Maybe they're young. Maybe they didn't have the experience cleaning it up. But now y'all know. He told you how to do it.
Yep. Hey, run it through Grammarly. Make sure Grammarly's free. It's
I
so
don't even
funny.
care if they spell it correctly, bro, because I'm not the best
Yeah.
speller. Just the introduction. Hey, yo, my name's so and so. However you want to
Yeah.
hype it up, hip it up, whatever. And that's it.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, come through. I got you.
Yeah.
Let's link it up. Boom. Put it on the calendar. You're
Hey,
here.
Now they know.
That's just me, though. My bad, bro. I get into
You are
that.
good. No, I feel you.
So you're actually starting to get into shining a light on more Latin creators. Where did the idea come from? What do you have in mind as far as doing that? And why did you feel inspired to do that?
Yeah. Honestly, it's gonna sound corny, but I'm just like, I think the older you get, you kind of just reflect and appreciate more. And so, just like I was stating, just me being one of the only Bolivians I kind of knew growing up here in the States. I want to just shine like kind of more of a light to not even just immigrant, but like just Bolivian like individuals. So I did it. This is the first time announcing it. I am starting a series that's going to be called Boliviando. And so it's going to be just me interviewing individuals, Bolivian individuals or group conglomerates. May not even be I do want to focus it like just maybe people in the States at first, just to kind of see their experiences as Bolivian Americans and like andando, like walking, like Boliviando. And so that's kind of just like walking Bolivian essentially. And so I have I'm gonna have my mom as my first guest. I want to interview her,
Awesome.
so I think it's gonna be a pretty personal. I want to kind of get to know just like the other side, her side of like being she's an immigrant as well. She came from Bolivia. She was born in Bolivia and lived there till she was 20 something, and so um I think that would be really cool. I hope to get, the like I was telling you, the Martin Amini, the comedian, and then even just his spouse as well, running a whole Instagram that shines a light on Bolivian Americans. I hope to interview a lot of other, Bolivian Americans and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and put a production kind of behind it. And so I'm very excited for that.
Okay. Do you have a launch day that you're thinking of starting?
Not yet. I do kind of want to do a, hopefully by early summer. We have a couple shows like shows and that are gonna be announced, and then other stuff that's kind of being worked in the background as well. So timing it is it's tough trying to make sure it's not overlapping. But I do want to make sure I do it properly. So I don't have a hard time set yet because I do want to make sure it looks good. It's done well. It represents properly, and so I am going to take a little bit of time to make sure it's good, but just I do want people to kind of keep an eye out, and hopefully it's something people like learn new. Like you're saying you didn't know about Bolivia until you kind of looked into it, and I hope other people are like, oh dang, that's a cool person. That's
The
Bolivian.
Wakanda reference that you made is freaking like on point as far as what it is.
Yeah.
It's like a jewel. It really is.
Awesome.
Okay, so the lack of content for Bolivia and people not knowing about Bolivia, that's one of your kind of drivers as to why you want people to know more about it.
Yeah, just and I hope I learn a lot about it. Honestly, just because yeah, I like I don't I know the political state is a little shaky right now. The economic state is always not the best over there, and so I want to learn a little bit more about my country and see like maybe even just speaking about it, maybe some way I can go back. I always used to joke I'm going to become like president of Bolivia.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I think I might. I don't
Don't
know.
you need dual citizenship? You were
I
born
am.
over there.
I do have dual
You were
citizen.
born,
Yeah,
so
I
as
still.
long as I'm pretty sure as long as you meet the
I
requirements
could. I
to be
don't know
there.
though. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It don't
I
take
will not run for office. I think it's a dangerous job. But I always used to joke that I'll be Bolivian president.
Okay, answer me this. Verasabum. For whatever reason, there's a lot of people from Israel that visit um Bolivia. Why is that? Why is it about that country itself they like to go visit?
I'm not educated enough to
Okay.
answer that question.
'Cause
I was like, do I make a
Because
joke
I
of it? But I
noticed,
really don't know,
because
to
I
be
noticed there
honest.
was quite a bit of people that
There,
even the signs and everything they try to cater to, because there's a lot of tourists from, but I don't know why. I mean, maybe because they'd be left alone. Maybe I have no idea. But I just thought
yeah.
I was trying to Google it and find a video. Maybe I just need to do a little more research.
Yeah, I might. I might have to. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
That is something
But
that's
have
good
you
to.
seen that? I don't know if you ever seen videos that they even got signs, even got like kind of catering,
You
kind of
know,
like
I
Americans do
don't.
for Mexicans doing for Americans, kind
Right.
of like that, but for people from Israel, things like that.
I've been seeing a lot of. You know what I think it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bolivia is a very like Catholic and very religious country,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know if I'm just kind of piecing the two together. Maybe they do fall on the Israel side of things with how everything is going on there, just showing their support. But as far as Israel immigrants to Bolivia, I didn't know that, to be honest.
Well, it's not immigrants; it's more like the tourists
Tourists.
go
That is
visit.
so interesting.
I
Yeah.
know, and I
Huh.
was like, if anybody knows, let me know. Put me
Let me know. I
put me
want to
on
know.
scoop because I didn't know until like
Yeah.
why are they going over there? And then I realized it's beautiful, of course, kind of, but like still, it's
Yeah.
still hidden.
Maybe they're the only ones that know.
somebody visited, told
Yeah.
them, and told everybody, and
Yeah.
everybody goes, and they're
Yeah,
the
it
only
could
ones
be.
that know because nobody else goes visit.
No,
I want to
yeah.
visit it. I want to see it. I'm gonna
Man.
see it. I'm gonna see it. Okay, so I sent you a message saying if there was two questions that you had in mind.
Oh,
You didn't do your homework.
I
It's
did
all cool.
not.
It's all good. I just like to be able to address anything that you have in mind. I think we covered it all. But is there anything in mind, anything in your heart that you want to speak about that you had, that maybe you want to, like, I hope he asked me this, or I hope we get to talk about this? Anything that comes to mind to you?
Man, honestly, I think you got it all. You covered it very well. You did great research. I feel like you really got to know me, and so nothing I really know. Just besides I do. I think with Up to Something we do have a little bit of like inconsistency at times with content, but um, we are working on a new style of show. Essentially, I would almost compare this to like as big of a shakeup whenever we went from all the shakeups we had before, from just audio to video, then video to interviewing to So I am very excited for what we got cooking up. It's gonna be under the Up to Something name. So we got episodes coming out, just different kinds of episodes, and I really hope people tune in, and I know they will. But it is something that we hope to kind of just shake shake it up a little bit. Something I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
now you can say shake the podcast world in the DFW. Shake it up,
Yeah.
man. Hey, more power to you, bro. Do your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like I want to give you your flowers. This show has been amazing. And
Please do not do that. I don't like you to kill the flowers. I want you to leave them alone. If you want to give me anything,
I'll leave the flowers.
some media jarrito or something.
I
But por
got
favor,
you.
I ain't got no. I appreciate the reference. I refer it, but I'm like, why you want to kill the poor little flowers?
The flowers, man.
Leave them alone.
They grow back.
I'm a Mexican born Mexicano,
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
vegan. Like I have been
Oh.
vegan for about 7, 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
I think I lost the math, but it's not that I'm like hugging trees or all about the animals, but those things get
Yeah.
to me sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes the flowers too.
I will not.
I'm like, wow,
pluck
you eat the
any-
vegetables too? Well, yeah, I'm thankful for my food when I get to consume them, but the flowers are so pretty. Let them be.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that's
the reference
fair,
though.
that's
Thank you
fair.
so much. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
It means a lot. Thank you very much for that. But just how about you just water the flowers?
I'll
On
water
my
the
behalf.
flowers on your
On
honor.
my behalf.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's platforms like
Yeah.
ours, like yours. I want to give a shout out to the boys at the Renaissance podcast. We record in kind of the studio that they have. We've
Nice.
recorded a lot there, and so they kind of grew up in the Renaissance, the rodeo. They also went growing up with it, and so I hope media platforms in Dallas continue to show love to each other. And while it's easy to make everything a competition, I think in Dallas, media is doing all right. And
Yeah.
I think it's got a good trajectory.
I think first of all, I like the aesthetics of whenever you're shooting. I've
Thanks.
seen a couple scenes, but the last ones,
Yeah.
I like the way it looks. With the vinyls and everything, it looks dope. I
thank
like it. I think there's a lot of podcasts. I don't know all of them. I try to immerse myself with them, which what I can. I'm not a great one at reaching out to people. I just have my mind on the ones that I want for the
Mhm.
people who I want to represent for the podcast. I don't think famous people are my thing. Maybe here I know it's faster growing if I get anybody that's known.
Yeah.
But I like the great
The
stories,
personality,
the
or the
personalities, the great stories, the
Yeah.
great conversation, the sharing, the power and sharing of things like that. That's what I like, and the representation of somebody from Bolivia doing things here in the states to the world, so they can show somebody from Bolivia doing amazing things that people can tap in and look at this individual doing what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is
Absolutely.
like the window, the door into the Latin community,
Yeah.
quote unquote, because some of them I had indigenous people don't like the term, and I'm all for it. I mean, you do
Right.
what you feel like, whatever claim. That's the name of the. If you don't want to, that's fine. You don't want to claim that
Yeah.
title. I don't. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But I just want to show your story as the human person that you are to the world, so you can show amazing people doing amazing things.
Thank
So, now, before we let you go, we're running short on time. Tell me actually no, you have some events coming up. You told me about those, so we're good to go on those. Shout outs. Any shout outs that you have? Anything else that you have in mind? Any other events, first of all? I think those two are the only ones predominantly.
Those
right
two,
now.
and then we do have a Cinco de Mayo event.
Uh-huh.
To be announced.
To be announced, but Cinco de Mayo
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, on Cinco de Mayo, I believe. And so, yeah, we are going to be collaborating with Cosign on that La Vida Cosign. And so all still like pretty early on, but we do have some awesome things coming up between those three current events at the moment. So we got April 26th, we got the Interlude, Ruins, Texas. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. May 4th is the Cosign event. So La Vida Cosign, May 4th, and then May 5th is gonna be First Sunday Block Party at Laurel.
Wow. Yeah,
Dallas.
busy weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a back to backs, and so you're like an NBA player, man. Just
Back to back. LeBron or Jordan or Kobe.
Jordan.
All day,
Jordan.
right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it magic watching him play? Nothing against any of the other ones.
Man, but they're so different. But yeah, you just can't deny. Like honestly, like LeBron, it's crazy what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
42 and just still being so like such a dominant player. It's crazy. But I don't know. And R.I.P. Kobe. That's one of the legends. But damn, man, Jordan was just ruthless, man.
Vicious, man. Vicious, man. Top 3 hip hop artists of all time for you. Those are just random. I'm doing.
Yeah, I'd say Kanye West,
Boo.
Jay-Z, You gonna boo all my top three?
Just kidding.
Kanye West, Jay-Z,
Oh,
and then I think I gotta go with Wayne,
Lil Wayne.
Lil
We're a
Wayne.
different generation. That's
We
probably
are.
why.
What would you say is your? Do you have a top three? Can I guess your top three?
Not really. Not really, because I like I not so much tapped into hip hop. I used to be so much into hip hop, but 50, Wayne, Eminem,
Yeah. You
Pop
dropping a song
Swish.
soon?
I did.
Oh, okay. It dropped already.
I have a couple songs out.
Okay,
Yeah, I dive into some music here and there. I have a song coming with Josie. It's
that's the one
called
I was
Le-
thinking.
Lejos the remix. There's gonna be dropped on April.
Okay,
It's just like a nice little vibe song, reggaeton, with my boy Kilo Artefacto, one of the dopest
okay.
MCs,
I gotta check that
Chilean
out. Okay,
dude, spits, and he is everything.
really?
DJing, MC, uh, produces, and all that,
I gotta check it
and
out.
got some vicious empanadas.
Really?
Chilean
Chile empanadas are good.
empanadas. He is one of the freaking dopest guy there is.
Okay, very
As far
cool.
as talented and
Dang,
overall
I
cool
gotta
ass
check it
dude
out.
with a lot of knowledge too, man, that's the guy.
Okay.
All right. So shout out. I know you shout out the crew. Is there anybody else that you have?
Um, no, I definitely want to just shout out, the boys, Shamir, Daniel, Renee, the other boys on the Up to Something crew that they don't they work with us here and there, and they're part of the United Nations crew that we call us. So shout out the boy Jake, Ty, Zoe. Zoe is part of Mahal Eating, and so that's who we actually First Sunday Block Party is who we
Nice.
collaborate with Mahal Eating, him and his spouse Cass, and so they also have a Filipino pop up shop, and so they do amazing work. And honestly, anyone that has been on the podcast has been, I do want to thank just because I'm like, we learn a lot, and then
Yeah.
my family and loved ones. Very generic answer,
No, whatever.
but I am grateful for just being where we are now. It's awesome, and so we wouldn't have been able to do that with any of that support.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I forgot that I was on the podcast thing. I think we have a little bit of everything in the podcast spectrum in the DFW area. You have
Hmm.
up to something. You have people that cover hip hop. We got other people that cover hip hop. We got just a little bit of everything. I think
Yeah,
we're cool. I haven't linked with everybody. I know they have some meetings sometimes, but I'm just like sometimes I'm not out and about so much. I should be going to meet other people, but a lot
yeah,
of times I just
it can be a lot, man.
stay to focus on doing the things that I need to do and keep crafting this to make it look good. Find a location we could permanently be recorded forever and a day and just grow from there.
Yeah,
But shout out to y'all. Hey, do
absolutely.
your thing. Please keep representing, keep staying consistent, and keep putting content out. And just Dallas has a great market, top 5 if I'm not mistaken with the last time. So why
Yep,
shouldn't we have massive amount of podcasts that are doing amazing things?
absolutely.
Okay, normally, um, what is an important lesson that you learned doing the media that you would tell your younger self, learning what you did with the media that will help somebody else out?
Write better emails. No, but that and
That should be
on
a joke.
it should be, yeah, it really um is gonna be really corny, but just like don't not giving up and like actually trying. I think so many people are scared to fail and they don't try, and like honestly, I think that's kind of why we were hesitant to release the first episode, but if we never released that, we wouldn't have hosted like other shows, met like Paul Wall, done like done the things that we have done unless we actually tried it. And so you learn a lot by failing, and I feel like I would love to tell myself it's like it's all right to fail. Like you get better. Failing sometimes it's you learn what not to do, and boom. So I feel like just people like really almost having that bravery to all right, let me go for it. Let me like jump. You know.
Seems like the theme for today for me. Okay, so I was checking out this interview with Dana White, UFC,
Mm-hmm.
and Lex Freeman podcast. One of the parts where he was covering what was talking about one of the movies that uh, pretty much impacted him a lot in life, right? So he was talking about the whole movie, but this part clip, and I found the clip,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a real simple clip, nothing crazy about it. And but pretty much what he was talking about is that there was this guy that wanted to wrestle, and he wanted to prove himself, and he wanted to go different weights, and things like that. And it was time to compete. I think it was a man that was significant to him. was telling, why are you doing that? Why are you trying? Stop. Just stop. Just don't
Mhm.
do that. The scene starts off with the guy goes in, hey, you're not working. Why are you not working? I'm like, aren't you competing today? I'm gonna go
Yeah.
see you. I'm like, what do you mean? You never go see me. I think it might have been his dad or somebody like that.
Okay.
So I forget the name of the movie too. So, anyways, so the clip starts from there, right? And then it goes into, yeah, I'm gonna go see you, but you never see me. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go check you out. Like, well, it's only like 6 minutes, it's not
Yeah.
really nothing big. And then he's like, and plus you're gonna lose money. And like, dude, it's not everything about money.
Right.
But anyways, the clip goes on. But something about that in the moment that it's playing, my mind started seeing stuff, and it's like, for me, there's so many people that you're trying something, you're doing something, but people's like, why are you doing that? Stop. Like, don't
Yeah.
do it. But somewhere in their mind is like they don't have the bravery to
Yeah.
be able to push forward to do those things.
Right.
And they want to keep you
Yeah.
because they know that they're the ones that are insecure, don't
Yeah.
have the bravery to try what you're
A
doing,
lot of
and you
people,
go for
yeah.
it.
Yeah, a lot of people I think project their fears. It's like they project like, "Oh no, you're not going to do it," and that's really just their fear, and fear sometimes is contagious to people, and it's
Yeah.
like, may cancel a dream. It's like, "Oh, if you would have done it, I mean, only one way to find out.
So there's a
You would
lot
have
of
done."
insecurity that gets pushed onto you to try to, like,
Yeah.
the crabs in the bucket try to push you down.
Yeah.
But if you stay consistent, you go with it, you keep doing it. Later on, when you're
Yeah.
successful, is the same ones they be cheering you. Why are they cheering you, right? If
Yeah.
they were trying to hold you back, it's because they knew deep inside they couldn't tap into that, and
Yeah.
you did, and they saluting you and applauding you
Yeah.
for the fact that you were brave enough
I never
to
thought
go
about it
forward,
like that. That's
to
actually
go
pretty.
forward and be able to do something that
Yeah.
they couldn't.
I know you're not a big Jay fan, Jay-Z. But
No, it's not that I don't like him. It's not I'm not
right.
to care too much for his.
Gotcha.
I like Empire State of Mind. I think it was a
Great
dope
song.
ass track.
Yeah, and so, like, I
Big
saw him
Pimpin'.
in Big Pimp, that's a classic, and so I saw him in concert, and he was, like, just talking to the crowd, and he has a line, it's like, "My uncle said I'd never sell 1,000,000 records. I sold 1,000,000 records, like, 1,000,000 times," and he's like, I have family members doubting me, like, "You're not gonna sell 1,000,000 records," like, they're just projecting, and sometimes it's out of concern, it's like, "Yo," and, like, I feel like even in creators, like, my mom's like, "Diego, are you sure you can," and but I think it's just, like, she don't want anything bad to happen or fail, but just, like, that kind of projection, it's like, people do it out of their fear and concern, but it's like, I sold 1,000,000 records, like, 1,000,000 times, so,
That's all it is. And
yeah.
I was thinking about it. I got emotional. I was watching, really cried a few times, recent over and over. It's like, damn, it's just true. And I just got to be the brave one to keep going forward until
Yep,
they see you do your thing and be like cheering you on
yep.
because, they're deep inside, they're celebrating you at
That
the end of the day.
that's what trailblazers do,
Yeah,
man,
that's what they do. Normally, when I wake up or somewhere throughout the day, I say something along the lines that I'm not immortal. I am mortal and I will die one day. And I got it from this guru guy, and I just liked it so much because at that time I just felt like it's true, right? It's not to scare me, to terrify me, to put fear in my heart. It's just it's a fact of life.
yeah,
It happens to everybody. With that, I wish you a long, prosperous life.
yeah.
However, with that, what do you want people to think and feel about your life when everything's said and done?
Uh, I want people to, like, look at my life and see that I made a positive impact, not just to me, not just to people near me, but hopefully beyond that. I do want to, you know, give back everything that I've, like, learned in a way, and I think really a great way to do that is just, like, passing knowledge, passing wisdom to the next generation. I have younger sisters. One's about to go to college. The other's a freshman in high school, and they are so much smarter. They're so much cooler than me. And so I'm like, nice. They did a lot of the hard work. I don't have to teach them the calculus, but I'm like, I can share them where I failed. I can tell them, like, okay, hey, don't do this. Okay, hey, maybe, and, like, give them the wisdom that I feel like could possibly help. And I feel like that's what we have to do. And I hope to do that with my platform, with Up to Something, and not necessarily just like what not to do or what ain't, but just show love, show wisdom, show kindness to the next, whatever's next, to whoever's up next, and I think that's how we progress as a people.
Yeah. You the oldest, you said?
Yeah.
You know why they're cool? Because they looked at you growing up. That's what I was telling my brother. My brother was he was homecoming king.
Okay.
And like we were arguing a little bit about who's cool. Like, well, I'm like, who do you think you were watching the whole entire time?
There you go.
Where do you think you got it from?
Yeah, I'm gonna start
What
telling
do you think
them
put you on the swag?
Yeah,
like
like,
all
how
the
do you
stuff
guys?
that you know that is cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
Yeah.
he was watching the whole time. What
Yeah, how do you
mean?
guys think you got so smart?
Now my brother's amazing, but it was just like a bro.
Yeah.
Who you were watching? You're not watching my dad trying
Yeah.
to be cool.
Yeah,
you were just
watching me. You know
watching
Dad
all this
wasn't
stuff
cool
that I
like
was
that.
putting them on. You know what I mean?
Yo.
And he took it and ran from him, and they did a great job. And I was like,
Yeah.
what do you think you've been learning, bro? Why you think you're so cool?
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
No. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for messaging me. I'm not trying to like throw it, but it's cool that we can reach out. Again, I'm not the best
Yeah.
of it, but I'm all for people to, reach out and connect so we
Absolutely.
can have a great conversation, create great content, and just get to learn.
Yeah.
You really opened my eyes in regards to Bolivia and the amazing place that it is, Bolivia, just the culture itself. I know it's just like a little bit of piece, but even that little bit of piece was already grown from that piece because
Yeah.
I didn't know so much about it. I think you may be the only first Bolivian I
Hey.
ever seen in my life.
Awesome.
For
I'm
real, for
a
real.
lot of people's first Bolivian that they met in life, but
Again,
y'all are welcome.
Yeah,
I'm just
real.
kidding.
Yeah,
Yes,
real.
we do exist.
And Bolivia exists.
Wakanda forever.
Well, and I'm telling you, it's like you probably might have seen it in passing on a post on IG, but or something like that. But you never realized that somebody was there watching and was in there, living there, came from that place.
Yeah.
And then just the indigenous part, everything that you have going on, as far as like everything,
Yeah.
culture. You have your own thing, just beautiful sceneries, dangerous roads that you get to
Oh
travel to.
Jesus. Yeah,
Bro,
I drove that.
it's
It
amazing.
was terrifying. But yeah, I thank you, man, and thank you again for having me on. This has been an amazing episode, and I do hope people check it out. Go look Wikipedia Bolivia, and I don't know, go to images if you're lazy and just like look there, or Instagram. I think there's a page Experience Bolivia that just does videos of the Uyuni and all of that, and it's a great short way to just see how amazing and beautiful that country is.
Absolutely. And without a doubt, Diego, the Bolivian bulldog, the brave Bolivian, you definitely are a global Latin factor. Thank you very much for being here, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe right now. Subscribe to Up to Something Media. Subscribe right now. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and check out one of the other episodes that we have prepared for you. Thank you very much. Till next time.
Walks like a pedo, but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana and
What we doing here?